Nice, nice. Yeah, I ended up actually, a couple months, about 2.5 months later, having a big spot at WrestleMania against Big Show and Kane. So it actually
Yeah.
worked out for both of you. So,
Yeah.
um, how was that? Working with Show and Kane.
Man, awesome. They're just, they're awesome big men. What
Mhm.
more can you ask for out of two big guys? Like Big Show is, when I worked him, I would just marvel at the way he moves for such a big guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he always gets the credit he deserves for that, but I mean, he's an athletic dude, especially for his height and size. And, then with Kane, I mean, you know, Kane is just, I've always liked Kane as a person. Like, I've liked hearing him talk about politics before he was ever the mayor and
Mhm.
hearing about his views. And he's just an intelligent guy. And he's very, he's, he stays on top of things. It doesn't surprise me that he went on to do what he's doing now because
Yeah.
he always had an opinion on events and but he was really a rational guy too. Like just
Yeah.
enjoyed hearing him speak. So yeah, man,
Hmm.
it was cool and it was WrestleMania, man. So I mean, as a
Yeah.
wrestling fan, it doesn't really get any higher than that. So I just again, man, it was just there were a lot of firsts for me. The Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble,
Hmm.
WrestleMania. As a lifelong fan myself, it was the ultimate, man. I couldn't believe it, and at the same time, I knew that it was exactly what I wanted to do, and that is what I envisioned myself doing. So I could believe it too.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. And then lastly, just kind of fantasy booking here a little bit. Kind of like a what if type of thing. You talked about Eddie Guerrero. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple months before the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah.
Do you personally think that the 2006 Royal Rumble finish would have been the same if Eddie Guerrero was around? Or do you think Eddie Guerrero would have won the Royal Rumble if he was still alive?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Oh, I like this because you really have to think about this one though, because okay, so let's think about, I was listening to I think Bruce Pritchard talk about this maybe, but I think apparently it was originally supposed to be Shawn Michaels and Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania
Hmm.
instead of Kurt. And so that's what Survivor Series would have planted the seed for, and then it would have continued with the Rumble. So I'm trying to think, okay, so if you book that, what changes and what makes sense? So like Shawn wasn't the world champion going into
Hmm.
WrestleMania. So if Eddie did win the Royal Rumble, it wouldn't lead him to Shawn Michaels, right? So, you know, I think there's a good chance that, it might have still been booked the way it was with Ray to go over because I think what we might have seen, because I think Kurt Angle, wait,
Kurt
or
Angle went
no,
over Sean, and
oh,
then
no, no,
Sean
no.
beat him on the
No,
Raw
it
or something.
wasn't. No, no, I got it wrong. It wasn't supposed to be Sean and Vince originally, and it was supposed to be, I think, Sean versus Eddie. But
Yeah.
then, it ended up turning into Vince. So that's what
Hmm.
I meant. So, I still think that there's a good chance it might have Ray would have still won, and maybe they would have built. They couldn't have built to it the same way because that's how they did it with Kurt. You know,
Hmm.
remember with
Yeah, I
Kurt
would
the
think.
year before at the Royal Rumble? I think he caused Sean to be eliminated. So, what do you think?
Yeah, because it's interesting because Kurt actually was in the triple threat that year with Randy and Mysterio, so he was a part of the title match. And then, like you said, Sean was in the no holds barred match. I think Sean versus Vince is definitely. It seemed like Vince was probably a replacement for Eddie,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you could have easily done, like a Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton type of grudge match feud, or Angle or Rey Mysterio versus Angle versus Orton for number one contender match or something like that. And I think you could have had Sean had the one win the title, beforehand, like at a Royal Rumble or something like that, or
oh
right
yeah,
beforehand, going into the match as champ, and then Eddie chased the title. I think you could have had that.
Well, who was the now who was the champions again at that point? I'm trying to
I think
remember.
Angle
Do you
was the
know?
champion going in.
Angle was the champion going in. I possibly, I'd have to see what else was going on, but I just
Mhm.
I feel like Sean. You were saying Sean. You think Sean might have won the belt, right?
Yeah, I think he would have probably went in with the
I don't
title.
know.
Yeah,
I don't think. I don't think so. Only because from what I've seen with Sean, was that he had that brief title run when he came back, but
yeah.
he didn't really like that role. He actually liked just being the best match on the card and not necessarily the main event. At least that from when I knew him. You know what I mean? He
And I
just
heard
liked.
that too. Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that
he
too. But
he liked
I,
being he liked being like that second spot, but he
yeah,
also knew that he's the greatest of all time too. So
yeah.
really he's untouchable. But
I think a short title reign for the sake of putting Eddie over would have been something he may have compromised to do.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
I didn't think about that because that might have been really cool, and it seems like around that point something he might wanted to do.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
when did so then when was the Chris Benoit was the year
That was the year
oh 2 years
after.
that was
No, it was
no
2004.
2 years. Yeah, it
2004.
was a
Yeah.
few years before. It was before the Kurt match was the triple threat, then the Kurt, then
Yeah.
the Vince.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's fantasy booking, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the that's the only match that in recent history that I've heard that kind of stung that we never got because it would have been, imagine, man,
Mhm.
like they would have had some classics. So that's
Yep.
unfortunate.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Well, this is the man, the masterpiece, Chris Masters. I'm Dr. Chris Featherstone, and you just witnessed the inside scoop. So long.